Alright, so next step for cleaning everything up is going to be jumping over to the grinder. We're going to do the profiles on everything and get the lines super clean, and every step from here on out is going to be shape refinement. Work rest is really important. It'll help give you a nice 90-degree angle on all your edges. If you start flat, you end flat. So you could totally do your 2 inches at a time, carefully working your blade across, trying to make sure you got nice clean lines. Once you get down to these radial parts, it's a super bad idea to do them on the flat because they'll never be flat. It is kind of advantageous to hit tight little corners with the edge of the belt here. This thing can cut just like a saw if you do it correctly. However, I have a nice grinder, so I'm not going to do 2 inches at a time. I'm going to do all the pieces at a time. Some people have a grinder that could maybe do something like this for doing a flat, where you would take your work rest and kind of set it up like that. The only problem is if you lose control, it's going to whip this knife and stab you in the leg. So that's why we have flip-flop Wilmot grinder. Alright, so with the grinder in a horizontal position, a little bit more free to flip things around. Scooch this up a tiny bit. Now with our blade sitting flat like this, I got a much longer grind line. If I have, I don't know, 6-7 inches of this plate here that I can use, I'm going to get a really nice long straight grind with even edges. All the scratches will be going in the same direction, so it'll catch light better and you're not going to see as many mistakes. Alright, so now that we got the grinder flipped over, we got to level out the work rest. As you can see, not quite at a 90. They have an Allen key here that you can twist in, unlock. Work rest will be more positionable, but since it's pretty close, we can just kind of give it a little tap, check it, another little tap, and we're dead flat. So I'm not going to use a new belt for this. Doing the profiles on knives is really hard on just that one area. So I like to use an old beat out belt. It's going to get hot. It's not going to get too hot. It's not going to cut the nicest, but it'll take all that gnar, junk, bandsaw crap off of here. And then we'll move on to something fresher as we move up in the grips. Alright. So we got everything that's flat. I can't really do any of the inside parts now with the machine set up like this, but wait, I can just set the machine up a different way and I will get in those spots. So I'm going to make some changes to everything, and I just wanted to note that if you see me take this off camera and then it comes back steaming, it's because I have dunked it into a bucket of water as a precaution to keep the steel cool. Do not want the metal overheating. It will change all the properties of the steel, which we'll get into later with the heat treating, but the main goal of everything is to keep it cool. So if you see me take it off camera, I'm dunking it into a bucket of water to cool it off. I also have this chiller plate set up, which does a fair amount. It's not made to keep the blades cool. It's made to keep this plate cool. All right. So I will change the machine up a little bit and we'll get into these inside areas. All right, so flat plate changing into a radius is as easy as moving this over. Tubes don't get cut. And now I have this bottom contact wheel as my contact point. Put a new bell run here. Too far. Okay, there we go. Okay. So now we put the work rest back in. Just get to the corner of it. Bring this down a little bit more. Now I can get to it. Okay. So we were still straight from the last time, so it should still be straight on this time too. Double check. Looks good. Alright, so all that for just this, and then we'll put a new one on for this. Alright, so the last wheel that we use, at least for this part of it, is the 3/4 radius small wheel. This thing's cool too. We can eventually need to put this down. I have a wheel that'll click in here to make this tighter. As of right now, we got this wide triangle. You can actually get it to a 3/4 belt width. I don't really need to do that on this one. So just real quick, do this. Cannot run the small wheels too fast. Okay, so we didn't show you all the steps because it was everything I just did, but with a 120 instead of a blown out 36 grit belt. Everything's nice and clean. It's starting to rust over a little bit just because it's sitting here and it's wet. As you can see, the sticker's gone. That was achieved by putting it in a bucket of water for 10 minutes and then scraping it off. Simple as that. Things I didn't show you was I got down here in the choll with a file. That's smoothed out now. That's going to be a completely by hand section. There's nothing I have to get in there. At this point, I'm going to load a Scotch-Brite belt up and knock all the sharp burrs and any kind of leftover gunk and rust down here. We'll get everything cleaned up, and then we'll take it over to the drill press, make our holes, and then after that we're going to start profiling the blade.